Hey, everybody, welcome back to Gardens, the Untold Story. I'm your host, Ken Somerville. My co host, Andy Lopez, unfortunately is sick today. He was sick last week. That's why we didn't do the show. But I didn't want to hold off and I wanted to bring you guys a show for today. So today we're going to be talking about gardening secrets. So everybody really loves to know what the secrets are to, making your garden abundant, vibrant, healthy, so that when you're consuming the plants, you're getting that health and vitality into your body. Now, when I was growing up, I learned that food really can be a medicine. So, if you want the best medicine, you want to grow healthy, vibrant plants. So, how do we do that? So, I'm just going to jump right in, guys, and we're going to hit gardening secret number one. Number one, understanding that it doesn't matter what type of organic life form that you are growing, whether that's a plant or an animal, because we grow our animals as well. Everything relies on cell division. There isn't an organic life form that does not rely on the division of cells to grow. Okay, so your plant, your animal, etc., is just a combination of cells. The larger the life structure, the more cells there are. Like human bodies, thousands upon millions upon trillions of cells. You know, a worm, of course, has a lot less cells, but they're all made of cells. So, secret two, understanding who's in control of the cells. That, my friends, is biology. Now, I've talked about the S phase of cell division on multiple occasions, but we're going to quickly recap that. The building blocks that are necessary for a cell to divide. So, say your plant is growing a leaf, it needs more cells. That material comes from the organic material, sand, silt, and clay that is available to the biology that is mining it. So a piece of sand has silica, calcium, etc., in it, but it needs a workforce. It's like sending a laborer out into the woods to chop down a tree to bring it back to be processed into 2x4s so that your house can be built. So the biology is in control of breaking that material down. In our bodies, guys, it's our gut biology. You hear about gut biology all the time. The healthy gut, is a healthy human being. Well, for a plant, the healthy soil is a healthy plant. So you need that healthy soil. And to have that healthy soil, you need the biology in there to break those materials out of what's there. Okay. So the other part of the S phase is the workforce that puts together the cells, the actual cell division. Now, this is again biology. They are the construction crew for your plant, for your animal, and for yourself. Okay. So the work crew is the biology. The more biology you have, okay, the more and better and healthier and more vibrant the cell can be, just like having more building blocks. Okay, so it's the biology that builds that cell, it gathers all those building blocks, puts it together to form the cell. So let's go to the plants again. And your leaf, your top layer on your leaf that is drawing in the sunlight, needs different materials than the leaf on the bottom, or the cell on the bottom of the leaf, that isn't grabbing sunlight, it's grabbing air. It's grabbing CO2. It's grabbing other components that are available in the air that surrounds it. So it is doing a different job and needs to be built differently. So understanding cell division and that your plant is made up of billions of cells that all have different jobs. Some of those cells in that leaf are going to be creating amino acids. They're going to be creating exudates. They have different jobs. And think of them as a manufacturing plant. Think of a plant as a huge city that's got all this manufacturing. It's got the solar panels. It's got, water recycling. It's got, furniture making, etc. All these different things that a city does, that makes up that city. That's what your leaf is. It's a collection of cells doing different jobs in your plant structure. So that was number 2, is understanding that it's the biology that's controlling how healthy your cell is. It's the one that is making your house out of 2x6s instead of 2x2s. So you have a much healthier, more strong, vibrant plant that is less likely to ever be attacked by pests. Okay, so gardening secret number 3 is finding out, how do I get more biology to build that healthier plant? How do I get more biology to make more building blocks, or have more building blocks available to build that more vibrant, healthy plant? Now, there is a multitude of different ways. And the biggest ones are going to be your compost. Okay. That's creating organic material. It's taking dead plants. So the cells that were already created by the biology, breaking those cells down for the specific components that are necessary to build new cells. So you're basically, think of it as a huge recycling facility. Okay, that's Mother Nature. She's developed this recycling of organic material that is then broken down by the biology, transported into your plant to the biology that's there building those next cells. So it's much easier to break down that material from an organic substance, let's say a leaf or a wood chip, than it is to mine it from the sand, silt, and clay. So if you're supplying that organic material already partially broken down in a compost process, then you're a step ahead of the game. Now, there's another way. You can look at things like Korean natural farming, where they create fermentations, okay, a fermented plant juice, a fermented flower juice that is breaking down the substances. So it's pre-digesting it, and it's much easier for the biology to grab that pre-digested and break it down that little bit further to put it back into the construction of new cells. So you've got composting, you've got the Korean natural farming methodologies, compost extracts is another big one. Okay, so you're taking your compost and then you create an extract from that compost. And there's a large variety of ways to do that, guys. So you can do compost brewers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And depending on how much time and energy you want to put into it, okay, is how much you're going to get back. So you can do your own research On the different methods of making a compost tea, I prefer compost extracts because with an extract, you can take a very small amount and put it into a large volume of liquid and have a larger volume to spray on your crop. Now, whether that's your garden or your farm, okay? So it's all of that combining that can grow more biology to make a larger workforce. So if you're looking at any of these methods, whether it's the lasagna method where you're making layers of different materials, whether it's the back to Eden, whether it's just throwing in wood chips, you're throwing in organic material. Now, that's one of the keys to all of this, okay, or one of the secrets is that organic material, and it's supplying more than just building blocks. It's supplying residential units, okay? So think of that city again and the apartment buildings, okay? That's what that organic material is. It allows the biology not only to have the materials to break down for building new cells, but it gives the biology places to exist. So you have to consider the predator prey model, and it's something that is really important to understand. So we could call that another secret, is understanding that the predator prey has to be there. We talk a lot about the soil food web and the fungal hyphae and fungally dominant soils, but consider that there's no way for your plants, your soil structure to maintain that fungally dominant environment if you don't have the species that biology preys on. So your worms, okay, they eat bacteria, okay? And so if there's no bacteria in your soil, you can't have worms. And worms are one of the most beautiful animals on this planet for telling you that you have a healthy soil system, okay? So you need the different levels of biology. Excuse me. Oh, achoo, achoo. So having the different levels of biology is one of the secrets that you have to understand. Being able to have the bacteria that feeds the higher life forms. So you're not going to have birds coming into your garden to eat bugs if you don't have any bugs. Okay? And there's good bugs and there's bad bugs depending on what you're growing and what you're after. But if you don't have those life forms to supply the food, you can't have a complete circle of life. And you need that, what they call soil food web or the life web, however you want to call it. Okay. You can't have that without all the different layers of biology existing. So, how do you get those layers? We've talked about compost. We've talked about Korean natural farming and their extracts. Another big one, guys, is worm castings. Now, I myself would prefer if everybody started their own worm farm, because then you know what's going into your worm castings, and it's a lot better for the environment if you are taking your leftovers, etc., and you're processing it. You don't want to be taking stuff and throwing it in the garbage and having it go to some place that they're supposedly composting, etc. You're better to do it yourself. But the options are getting it into available nutrients. So if you have the availability to have a worm farm, please do a worm farm. Now, the other side of that coin, and I've mentioned it several times, is I actually dry my worm castings, put them in gel caps, and I consume them. Okay. That biology in my gut makes a world of difference in my health. My wife Lily, you see her as Silly Lily in our chat. Okay. Um, she was having problems with drinking coffee. She would get, a stomach ache. So I had her take a pill of worm castings. Bang! Right away. No more problems. Our gut biology is amazing and can help our body stay healthy if we have it. That's where the worm castings come in. And that's where worm castings in your soil are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay. So if you have the availability to have a worm farm, do it. Then when you're taking a worm castings in your body, you know what went into that. You know it's healthy. Okay. Other than that, you can buy worm castings all over the place. You can get them at your local hardware store. Just be very considerate of if the bag is sealed and there's no oxygen, the biology isn't going to be very happy in there if there's any biology left. Okay. That's why I always recommend, if you can, do it yourself, because then you know what's there. You know what's went into that. You know what you're going to be getting back out of it. So, extracts, okay? There's a big secret, okay? Extracts, as I said, you can take a small amount, make a huge amount, okay? So I take my worm castings and I put them in ladies' pantyhose, okay? Is ladies, you guys have it made because you've got this stuff. I had to go out and buy some, okay? But I take a couple of handfuls, I stick it in the ladies' pantyhose, and then I put it into water and I milk it just like you're milking a cow, just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And I force the water through the material. And what I'm doing is I'm literally stripping off the biology that exists there. And that's one of the things that, you know, Leighton Morrison, our host of the Soil Matters, talks about as well, is stripping that biology. And this is one of the ways you can do it. Now, you take that, you basically, you're making your own extract. Like, I put about 4 gallons of water in a 5-gallon bucket, and I do that for 10, 15 minutes, and then I have an extract. Just as simple as that. Quick, simple, and easy. Then I can take that and I can put that into a larger volume of liquid. Now, I built myself a 25-gallon sprayer. And so I have a 25-gallon tank. So I take my 5 gallons, I put it in, put another 20 gallons of water in. And all of a sudden, I have 25 gallons of an extract or a spray that I can put out. And I've only used a very small amount of worm castings that I've extracted the biology from to be able to have this amazing liquid that my biology and my plants are loving. Okay. So that's one way. Another one, here's another big key, guys. Another secret is water. Okay. And now I'm talking rivers, lakes, streams, ones that have vibrant life, have plants growing along the sides. Okay. Everything is truly alive and happy. okay, if you go and grab a 5-gallon bucket of that type of water, bring it home, and put that into 500 gallons of normal water, and not city water, okay, we're talking good water, not full of chlorine or chloramine, then you can use that to spray on your plants and on your ground. And it's full of aquatic biology, which is the beginning of life on our planet. It's the beginning of biology. And somebody saying Jadam is a fun one. Yes, Jadam is great. It's one of the other things that you can get into as well. Um, but the water from a vibrant lake or stream is amazing. And I know people that feed that water, they go down to the swamp that they have, okay, they draw that water out, and they're using that to actually water their animals. It's got life in it. That life gets into the animal's stomach. That biology gets into the animal's stomach. Okay. So, Adam Green, you're saying distilled water is a blank canvas. Yes, RO water as well, but you need to add everything back into that canvas. If you're drinking straight distilled water or RO water, you're literally stripping things out of your body. Okay, so you need to add back in. So, another way to get that aquatic biology is if you know somebody that has a fish tank and they have a fish filter in that fish tank, but they're changing on a halfway regular basis, guys. Okay, talk to your friend and go, hey man, can you, when you're doing your water change, you're changing your filter, let me know. Just take that out, throw it in a an ice cream pail of water for me, and I'll come and get it. Take that home, throw that in a 5-gallon bucket, let it sit there. And in a day or 2 or 3 or 4, all of a sudden it's going to go, hey, that smells kind of sweet. That's the life. That's the biology blooming in there. And it's just ripe to throw in that 1,000 gallons of excess water that you've got and spray that everywhere. Okay. That's the aquatic biology. Remember, I mentioned the predator prey, guys. That's the prey species that are necessary in your soil structure to be able to have the upper layers of the biology. There's so many people that are talking about fungally dominant, but you've got to have their food source. You can spray on all the fungally dominant stuff you want, but they're just going to die off if you don't have a food source for them. Just like us. If we don't eat, we're going to die. Okay? So you've got to maintain, you got to stick that in your head. And remember that you've got to have all the layers of biology in your soil structure to be able to maintain that soil structure. If you're just, building a quick, pot for 2 or 3 months, you're not going to be worried that much. Okay, you can just do foliars and help. But if you're building something that you want to last, you want your garden to be vibrant year in, year out, more and more and more, you need to have all the layers of biology. So another secret, okay, is never ever have bare soil. It doesn't matter if you take grass clippings, okay, and just, put an inch of grass clippings on a bare patch of soil. At least you've got something there. Now, there's obviously better than just straight grass clippings because they get wet, they get all matted and slimy. but at least it's covering. But Mother Nature does not like bare soil. She is going to make something grow there. And generally, it's not something you want in your garden. So cover that soil, whether you're using straw, whether you're using compost, whether you're using anything. Keep the soil covered. You allow the sun to get at bare soil, it evaporates, it dries out. The biology goes into what's called cyst, or they go to sleep. They can't grab onto water when it does rain, and all of a sudden, poof, your water just ran right off. Where if you have a mulch layer and it rains, the biology grabs that, keeps that, and maintains that moisture in the soil where it needs to be for the roots to grab it and bring it to the biology that needs billions of molecules of water in each cell. Just remember, we can go days and days and days without food, but we're dead in 3 days without water. Okay? Water is so important to maintain health in any organic structure. Okay. So having that mulch layer, and I've got a dog that wants to get petted here. So hold on a second, guys. Oh, come here, Dylan. There's my puppy, Dylan. He likes water too. Mwah. So having that water, having that biology that exists in that water, and that's where going on and getting that swamp water, or lake water, river water, the creating your own from a fish filter, that is necessary. That's biology. That's the foundation. Now, if you want to go to the next levels of biology, and somebody was mentioning Jadam, okay, there's different ways that you can create another layer of biology. Daughter named Dylan. Well, this is a male, so your daughter's kind of SOL on that one, okay? But Jadam has the Jadam microbial solution. Okay. Just a quick way that you can create a liquid fertilizer, or a liquid, how do I want to phrase this? Building blocks. Okay. It's like putting a warehouse together. Thanks, Lucas. Of materials, because remember, it's a fermentation, okay, that you are creating, that's breaking down that organic material, composting it in a liquid solution. So you've got the different levels of biology. You've got more of the aquatic, or the biology that doesn't necessarily need to have oxygen to survive. You're breaking that all down and just making it building blocks. Okay. It's a huge warehouse. I've seen people take, 55-gallon drums, stuff it full of anything green in their garden area, or from their yard, weeds, doesn't matter. Throw everything in, put water in it, put a lid on it, walk away. Just let it ferment and ferment and ferment. And believe me, if you've got neighbors, when you open that up, if you got a nasty neighbor, put it right by their property, open it up, let the stink come out. They're going to be just loving you so much for that. But that, guys, is a barrel full of life, of biology, of building blocks that are necessary for the biology to use to build your plants. Okay. It's all about supplying the building blocks and the biology. Like, I know on this show, when I first started with Andy Lopez, he was so focused on um, the building blocks, on rock dust especially. Okay, he wanted to throw all that on there. Oh, rock dust, rock dust, rock dust. It took me a while to go, Andy, if you don't have the biology to use that rock dust, it's just going to sit there. Yeah, as rain comes, it's just going to wash off. And he finally went, you're right. Without the biology to use that, there's no use in even putting it on the soil. Okay? That's where you really need to understand the secret is that cell division. The secret is that biology that breaks those components out of whatever substrate you have. Okay. For me, I like steak, lobster, things like that, but I need the biology to break that down to a molecular level, to the molecules that get transported around my body to make heart cells, liver cells, lung cells, skin cells, etc., etc., etc. And that's the same in your plant's body or your animal's body. We need the building blocks, but then we need the construction crew. And that is biology. That's where it is so important to keep this secret in your back of your brain. Biology is the key to life on our planet. Without biology, there's no cell division. If there's no cell division, this finger does not exist. This body does not exist. Your plant does not exist. Okay, so Brian, David, I just noticed your question. I'm going to bring it up and read it. I'm in the city. My local park has a large lake that receives LA's gutter water. Everything drains to ocean. Is it too risky using that lake water? Yes, way too risky. And why? Everybody is putting water on their lawns that's got chlorine, it's got chloramine, whatever chemicals is being used in there, whatever chemicals people are using on their properties are all washing into that. They're killing our oceans, they're killing our lakes with that kind of material being able to flush through. So you need to find some place that has life in the pond. Okay, so if you have the availability to go and find a place where there's plants growing in the water, there's fish living in the water, and they're healthy. Okay, that's the other one. Are they healthy? That's a type of water you can use. But for the people in the cities, you're better off to go down, get yourself a little fish tank. Okay, spend the $50-$60 to get the fish tank, get the stones, get the filter, get a few fish, buy the fish food. You can take that and you can do your house plants. Okay, so people that love their house plants, you could do this too. Okay, it's so easy to do if you think on the level of biology. The air you're breathing right now, guys, is full of biology. In Korean natural farming, we make lactic acid bacteria or labs. Okay, and that starts with taking rice water. Okay, so you take rice, you put it in a mason jar, and you shake it up for a few minutes, and then you take that water, okay, you pour it into a dish, and you let that sit there, and it grows a scum on it. So that's the biology from the air that is starting to grow. Okay, it's right in the air. So labs is actually one of the most prevalent biology on our planet. Okay, It's everywhere. So to make labs, it's a little bit, further along because you want to strip out, excuse me, any bad biology, and that's just simply adding it to milk because the milk has the food source that only the lactic acid bacteria can survive on. So any of the bad biology cannot stay in existence because, oh, the predator prey, it has no food. Sorry, you're dead. Okay. So that's one of the keys to my understanding of the predator prey was playing with that, going, oh yeah, well, it can't grow the other stuff because there's no food source. So the bad stuff dies off and the good stuff proliferates. Okay. So that's just another key to predator prey. So we've had a lot of secrets here, guys. We've had um, some basic understandings, but just think of everything around you, okay, has been built by the biology, okay? Any natural substance, okay? So if you have a wood table, okay, that came from a tree that was growing through biology. The cell structure was created by the biology to grow that tree. And if it was a healthy tree, that table is going to last a long time. If it was an unhealthy tree, well, they probably never made a table out of the unhealthy one because it would have big holes and, et cetera, and it wouldn't look very good. So, Shawnee Grows, you got to invite me onto your channel. The wife is always going on about you, how your channel is so good. So that's Shawnee Grows, guys, on YouTube. Check out her channel. She's got lots of people that come on. She does a lot of panels, etc. But a wonderful lady that has a lot of very good knowledge. So let's get back into secrets here. Okay, so we've covered the lower biology or the aquatic biology. So we touched on Jadam and the Jadam microbial solution. There's the other one, and it's just simply leaf mulch, a baked potato, um, and creating that. But it's all about creating the biology. I feel like I need to practice interviewing someone. Oh, Shawnee, I'm so easy to get along with, sweetheart. We'll just natter along like me and Andy do. We just yak. Okay. I love to do interviews with other people. If you guys didn't check out Gardner Scott, I last Monday I did an interview on his channel for an hour and a half. We had a blast. Just a blast. It's so much fun to talk to you guys. Okay. And I'm actually thinking that maybe on Thursdays, I'm going to bring Conversations on Ken's Cafe on. And what I'm going to do is have an open link. I'm going to put the link in the live chat. So people that want to come on and have a conversation, they'll be able to do that. They'll just be able to come on. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of answers. I have a lot of different understandings on a lot of different topics, but we'll get back to the secrets of growing here. One of the secrets that a lot of people hold back on, they don't want to tell people, okay, is that life starts in the soil. Okay. It starts with that lower level of biology. That's where everything is the foundation. And then you're moving up in the story of the foundation of life in your soil. So it starts with, the biology that does not need oxygen. It moves into the middle biology. And we had a lot of people on talking about effective microorganisms, or EM. Okay. Oh, Silly Lily's here. Oh, she's grabbing Dylan, so he's not here whimpering beside me. Um, Building soil in a desert. Yes, very, very easy to do is just put on a, I want to say shit ton, but put on a large amount of organic material on top of the sand. Okay, because sand is actually a huge component, is what we were just going to mention, is that sand, okay, which a lot of people don't have, okay, is full, absolutely full of different components that your plants and our bodies need. Okay, silica. Oh God, there's just in one single grain of sand, and this is coming straight from a global survey where they looked at the sand globally. Okay, has calcium, magnesium, silica, etc. It is a necessary component in soil. It is needed there. Okay. So if you're in the desert and you got all this sand, as long as you start adding a whole bunch of organic material, and that can just be wood chips, it can be grass, it can be desert scrub brush piled and piled and piled so that the air can't suck the moisture off, your biology is going to grow. Okay. That's where, if you're doing biochar, okay, and you have access to good quality biochar, you're making it yourself, and it's biology stuffed into it, you put that in the bottom layer on top of that sand, and you put mulch on top, you're creating biology, you're giving it the start, then you're giving it the food source, you're giving it the shade, okay? It's going to be able to proliferate into the ground, and it's going to create black, rich soil as that is broken down, and just keep adding layer upon layer upon layer every year of organic material. And all of a sudden, you turn that desert into vibrant soil. Look at, guys, if you want to take a look at the reforestation of the Sahara Desert, okay, they have what's called the Great Green Wall. Okay, there's documentaries all over the place about that, and different areas are using different methodologies, but it's all about organic material. They keep the organic material, they put more, they put more, they put more, and all of a sudden, any moisture that is being created in the environment, and that's, guys, morning dew, okay? The change from hot to cold in that dew point can literally feed you the enough water into your soil to survive droughts. Okay? As long as the biology and the organic material is there, it can draw that moisture in, keep the plant alive through that drought, because it is created right out of the air. You don't even need to have the rains. Okay. So the if you're really into that, taking a desert and turning it into life-giving abundance, then check out the stuff on the the wall. Oh geez, the Great Wall in oh, I said it earlier. Now I can't remember it. It's slipping my mind. But they're taking the sand and forcing the desert back, reversing desertification. Oh yeah, that's a hard one. And they're able to bring rivers and creeks back. There's different groups that have literally created new watersheds or reinvigorated watersheds and have rivers that haven't flown in decades and decades flowing again, supporting life. Yeah, greening the Sahara. Yeah, thank you, David. It's amazing what you can do with adding that organic material that gives life to the biology, gives them the food sources they need, gives them the living quarters, and stops the evaporation of the moisture. And all of a sudden, you've got growth. You know, they dig little pits, and they fill them in, and there's all kinds of people doing this kind of stuff, and it's amazing how it can all work together. Okay, so that's one of the keys is having all of those. Yeah, swales, exactly, ghetto. you know I There's so many things controlling the water on your property, okay, especially in a desert like environment, is huge. But even if you have, if you're in Britain, you get rain and that all the time, okay, you can refill the aquifer a lot more efficiently and have better water by having the organic material, having it processed, the water processed through the soil structure to clean it. You think of sand filters, okay? The sand purifies the water. But let's get back to the middle layer of biology, which is, we talked about EM, the effector of microorganisms, and Terraganics has one. We've actually got Mr. Vila coming on again this coming Monday with Leighton. He does the Bokashi and the effective microorganisms. So the effective microorganisms are a set of organisms that can exist in both an aerobic or oxygen environment and an anaerobic, no oxygen environment, and they can move back and forth between. So it's like having, we'll go back to the loggers. Okay, you got the loggers out in the bush, okay, bringing the trees down, and then you've got the people that take those trees, put them on a truck, and bring it to the mill to be processed. Okay, and then it goes from the mill to the store where you go in and you buy it. So there's the different sections. So that is how you can see these effective microorganisms that can move back and forth. They're moving materials. So deep down, you've got the bacteria that's breaking down those sand molecules into the carbon or the silica, etc. And the effective microorganisms are the truck drivers going down, grabbing that stuff, bringing it up into the aerobic area where the biology there needs those materials to build more cells. Okay, so one of the other secrets, and this is a big one, guys, is you're not growing plants. The biology is growing your plant. It's the ones that are building your plant. It's the biology that is needed for all aspects. So don't focus on growing a tomato plant. Focus on growing biology that grows the tomato plant. That's one of the hardest things for everyone, whether you're a gardener, you're a farmer, it doesn't matter. to wrap your head around, the plant is a building. The biology controls the entire building. It controls how many floors, it controls how wide it is, it controls everything that goes on in that structure is controlled by the biology. You're not growing a plant, grow biology. Let the biology put the cells together that create that tomato plant, that create that beautiful tomato that goes into your mouth and you go, oh, that is so good. Hey, Super Nessa, Sagu, my friend. It is all about growing biology. Supply the biology with what they need. And when you put the seed in the ground, the biology is going to go, oh, hey, this is a tomato seed. We need to gather all these materials to make the tomato grow, this plant, this apartment building grow, because that's where we're living with more biology. So if you're growing biology, you're growing the workforce that puts it all together, not only in how your plant grows, how your leaf grows, how your tomato grows, but also what's underneath, what's in the soil is growing. Okay. It's growing the higher levels of fungal development that are necessary for the higher layers of plants. Okay. So without the biology, there's no plant. So you can't grow a plant without the biology. You can't have anything, at least not organic substance, without that. Get that so deep embedded in your subconscious that you're not growing anything but biology. It's the biology that puts the cells together, maintains the cell, and if it's on top of the leaf, it's grabbing the light energy, the photons coming from the sun, using that to grow more biology, to grow more cells. The more cells in your plant, the healthier your plant. If you have, problems with bugs, okay, make your plants more healthy. All of a sudden, the bugs can't consume your plant. You have an aphid problem. The aphid's poking in and, it's draining your plant. Well, if your cell structure on your plant is so thick that the aphid can't bite through to get down to what it needs to eat, the aphid's going to fly away. Predator prey, no food source, it's gone. Okay. So you have to focus your entire understanding. Grasp this. Don't ever let it go. It is all about the biology. Focus on growing the biology, all the different levels of biology. Okay? That's where if all you're doing is throwing in fungal, there's nothing for the fungal to eat. The fungal ain't gonna last. That's why a lot of products that are being sold out there, you have to keep buying them. Just keep buying them. Yeah, baby, just give me your money. Give me your money. Because there's no, how do I say, existence of all the forms. Okay. Now we've had amazing people coming on to our podcast on the Soil Matters that, they have different products that, are algae based. We had a couple of young ladies on here, a couple of shows, and their algae based product, that's that aquatic biology. We've had, the Terraganics crew, that's your middle layer, and then your upper layer, that's your composts and your extracts, etc. These are all available. You can create them yourselves if you want to take the time and the energy. Okay, it is all based on biology. Now, I know there's a lot of people that talk about, different oxidates, amino acids, etc., that are needed. Yes, they are needed. Okay, but they're created inside your plant. Okay, well, who's controlling your plant? Who's controlling that cell that makes that amino acid that's necessary? It all goes back to who's in control of that cell. It's the biology. So the more diverse biology that you can have, the better off the whole system is going to be. And I'll give you one more secret to end off the show, guys. And it's something I shared with Gardener Scott, and I've shared it on a few different shows. Seed sprouting. Okay? Take that jar of water, take whatever seed you've got, throw them in there and sprout those seeds. On the outside of that shell of your seed and on the inside of that seed, there is biology. So when that seed pops open and it sprays out the biology that exists inside of it, that's exactly the biology that the mother plant has put in, okay, for the growth to support that plant for the first set of leaves or the cotyledon. Okay, so it's got tons of energy there. It's got tons of biology. Take that sprout water, that's an extract. Put that into 25 gallons of water and water your garden. The more different variety of seeds, okay, whether that's, let's say, mung bean, radish, tomato, any seeds that you can get a volume of, sprout them. The more variety of biology that you can add, the better, the greater the diversity available for your plant to reach full genetic potential. If your plant, say, needs, I'm going to just pop a name off it. I'm trying to make up a name, but we'll call it Ken biology. Okay. If your plant doesn't have Ken biology and it needs that biology to be able to reach full genetic potential, but you never give that biology to your plant, it's never going to reach full genetic potential. Variety of biology, variety of building blocks. Okay, so the biology, do extracts, do this, do this, do this, do the seed sprouting, anything that you can grab biology from, aquatic, etc., etc., etc. The secret is the biology. The secret to life is biology. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming. Hopefully, Andy's feeling better next week. With the fires in LA, the air has become very toxic, and he's having a lot of problems, with migraines, etc. So I'm hoping he's going to be better next week. But if he's not, well, I'll come back on. We got to keep the things going here. And guys, if you want to support the channel and what we're doing here, I've got the join button now on YouTube. I've set it at $4.99 Canadian. So You guys in the US, it's like only a couple of $3. Okay, help us out here. Hit that join button. Help us out with that. Less than a coffee a month. It will really make a lot of difference for us to keep this all going. I love you all. Thank you so much. And hopefully, if there's anyone that has a YouTube channel that wants to have me on, just send me an email. It's all about the biology at gmail.com. It's pretty simple, guys. Just shoot me an email. I'd love to come on your podcast and talk about anything. And it goes along a lot further than biology. We can talk about energy, frequency, vibration. Guys, I've been around for a couple of days. I probably know more than I want to know at this point. But thank you, everybody. Good night. We will see you. Maybe tomorrow. I'll start the show where I'll send out the link in the chat so you guys can jump on with me. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. Anyway, guys, love you all. Peace out, and we'll see you soon.